Hey everyone, welcome back to the Daily Healing Journal, where I'm sharing my healing journey in real time. Today we're going to talk about accepting what we've been through and how to heal and recover and rebuild your life after experiencing trauma. So this is a heavy one, and it's one of the greatest gifts you're going to give yourself. I can tell you from experience. I used to get stuck in my thoughts and I would replay what happened over and over again. And what happens when we do that? Well, we start reliving these things, okay? And the brain doesn't know that you're not still going through it. So anytime that you're reviewing this, your whole body is going through this trauma again. So maybe somebody cheated on you. Maybe somebody was having sex with someone else while they were trying to have a baby with you. Maybe somebody used you to finance their house. Maybe they lied about their past and didn't tell you that they were not truthful about their situation. Maybe they were cheating on their ex-wife before you were even in the picture, and they lied to you about this, and then they slept around town with some of the most disgusting people. Who knows how bad this trauma is? Maybe you were locked in a closet and your life was being threatened. There are some very serious things. Maybe you went overseas. Maybe you were doing things for, your country, and you have these thoughts in your head that just keep going over and over and over again. And I am no doctor, but what I can tell you is what has worked for me and the things that I've been through, even things that I didn't even realize were traumatic experiences because I had numbed myself and normalized this, and I was in flight or fight mode. It doesn't even have to be that extreme. It can be these little breadcrumbing events, and it doesn't matter if it triggered you. You have to remember that triggers are unhealed trauma. So it's really important to hug yourself and give yourself the opportunity to heal. And this is going to be different for everybody. So hang with me here, and I'm going to give you some tips of things that have worked for me, because let's be real, it is inevitable that we're going to go through trauma throughout our life. Everybody is going to experience something in their life. And some people may go, okay, well, this is worse and this is not as bad. And, we all have a different journey. It's important to remember that you can compare all you want, but what matters is, how does it feel to you based on your core values? The beauty in this is, no matter how bad or less bad you want to judge your past by, you can get through this once you acknowledge it. And what helps moving forward is that this teaches you to balance your emotions. So whether it's something that's happy or something that's really sad, I'm an artist, so I learned to feel my emotions, right? And it's my job to write music and make art and paintings. And so I've always felt my emotions deeply. While this is a gift, it's not a gift if you hold on too long and continue playing these things in your mind, especially if there are things that have hurt you. So let's talk about radical acceptance. You gotta look it right in the eye and just make a list of the things that you really don't like about your life, or maybe yourself, okay? And this is not going to be easy. You have to be really, really honest with yourself, and you have to hold yourself accountable. And if I didn't hold myself accountable for the mistakes and the problems that I had, whether they were caused by other people or not, I didn't have any control of my life. Why would we do that? A lot of times we make these patterns go and go and go and go without even realizing it. Give yourself an hour to just make the list of the things that you wish were different in your life. Make a list of the things that you wish were different within yourself. Accept the reality as it is without judgment. This is the first step to emotional freedom. Once you can practice this, it's not going to feel right at first, but once you can practice it, it's going to get easier, I promise. So give yourself a really good affirmation. I release my grip on the past and embrace the present as my foundation. If you do this, this is gonna give yourself a chance to accept what's going on and sit with it for a second. You know that feeling when you wanna go swimming, but the water's gonna be a little cold, right? And so you have to kind of either jump in or you slowly get in, but it's actually easier if you just jump in and then all of a sudden you're like, the water's so cold, But then you get used to it so much faster. So believe it or not, you can do it at your own pace, but sometimes it's just easier to jump in that cold water. And then you feel better after doing it, right? That's right. But the thought leading up to it was not easy. Some people like to use the terminology of ripping the Band-Aid off. And I don't necessarily recommend that. I think that jumping in a cold swimming pool is a lot more fun. The other tip I want to give you is something that I've learned through attending Al-Anon, and that serenity prayer. Whether you have been to Al-Anon or AA or not, this can be applied to anyone's life. So separate what you can and cannot control. And this is something that I've really struggled with in my past, and I didn't even know that that's what I was doing. So when all these other weird behaviors and mean things, maybe this person called me fat and ugly, and that I wasn't talented, and that I was a joke. Maybe this person said everybody warned them about me and just was trying to fill my head. And then there I was going, oh my gosh, like none of this could be true. The only people that I've triggered in my life are people that I've called out for their crap. And I know that about myself. And I'm learning that I don't necessarily need to call them out all the time, but there is definitely some times when it's time for you to stand up for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to make sure that you are committed to whatever outcome could be. And so this is something you cannot control. You cannot control the outcome. All you can do is control how you are and what you choose and to do and not do. So take it slow, just for today. Think about it. What can I control today? What is within my power to control? So focus all your energy on what you can control. And this doesn't mean trying to control everybody and everything. Keep it really simple. And what values do I need to realign with? Because you're going to learn that once you have those core values, you're not going to feel the need to want to change people and control people. Again, I've told you in other videos, I had this fantasy brain going on in here going, oh, I can fix that person. Or look at your relationships, your thoughts, and your actions. If the same type of people keep showing up in your life, it's a sign that something inside of you is allowing it. Don't do this as blame, but use it as an opportunity to shift. Learn your values. What do you truly stand for? Okay? For me, honesty, trust, respect, integrity are huge for me, because love and strong relationships cannot survive without those things. This can be in family, in your home life, this can be in business, all over the place. Question yourself if you're making decisions that honor your core values. So triggers are unhealed trauma. They're unhealed wounds. Instead of reacting, which I've had to teach myself this, ask yourself, what's going on in here? Why does this trigger me? Okay, and you might have to really get in your head for a second, and this isn't going to be easy, but get that pen and paper and write that down. Maybe you can dig a little bit deeper and say, what does this remind me of? What belief is attached to this reaction? For me, because I had gone through so much trauma, I actually stopped having memories of certain situations in my life, starting in my childhood all the way up to present day. And so this process has taken me quite some time. And I really want to urge you that sometimes when you're just sitting there, these thoughts won't happen naturally. So I told you guys before, go for a walk and try to not have any thoughts and just try to breathe. And a lot of times these things will come to you. Now give yourself this affirmation. This has helped me so much. I attract what I allow. I am learning. I am growing. And I am evolving. Okay? Say these things to yourself and give yourself the chance to learn and grow. Your past does not have to dictate who you are today and your future. I want to just touch on some things to avoid while you're healing. This is something that I am currently in the process of doing, and it doesn't even mean that I'm not necessarily going to go back to hanging out with certain people or whatever, but this time I have a guidance system that is realigned with my values. So I will know if it's a good decision or not, but I'm still a little wobbly, which is why I'm not rushing into a relationship right now. It's why I'm not rushing into making decisions on who I'm going to cut out of my life and who I'm not going to cut out of my life. I'm listening, I'm observing, and this is very strange because, you know, I thought I had all this under control, and my life quickly reflected that it was not in control at all. My life had become unmanageable, and while I could sit here all day, do the blame game, remember that finger, one pointed towards the person that you're blaming, but how many fingers are pointed back at you? 3. All right, so just keep this in mind. Okay, I would love to blame everybody else, wouldn't we? Blame is a lot easier. But actually, if you sit with that, blame doesn't actually feel that good. Not past a certain point. What feels better is taking responsibility that your life is your life and you build it yourself. And so whatever you're willing to tolerate and whatever you're willing to surround yourself with is what you're going to get in return. So I'm going to start with a big one that was a big one for me: rumination and overthought, overanalyzing. This is something that other people that I was around as a child did, and I thought this was normal behavior. Like I said in the beginning of the video, your brain's going to replay all these things and you're just going to keep thinking about them. And what I would do is I would try to make sense of this. Like, why is this happening when a lot of this stuff goes so far off my values, but I keep attracting these people? And how am I going to fix it? And how much more time am I going to let them act out, come home belligerently drunk, slamming doors, throwing things at me, attacking me verbally and physically? How many more times am I going to give a person the benefit of the doubt? One time that happens should be enough. And if we have ourselves under control and we're not thinking and trying to overanalyze this, especially if we're getting gaslit, like I mentioned in my last video, you're not going to be able to make sense of this. So all these thoughts, if you just keep thinking them over and over again, it's not going to help anything. It's going to make it worse. So stop it. Break this loop by asking yourself, is trying to make sense of this stuff and thinking about it and overanalyzing it, is this helping me move forward? Is it helping me feel lighter? Am I becoming a better version of myself? Part of this is sitting with it and understanding that there's a good chance the answer to that is no. But if you choose to get out, that's when you're going to learn and you're going to grow and you're going to evolve and you're going to use this, all this chaos in your head, as a gift, but you're going to put it in that box and you're going to send it away and you're going to grow and learn from it. And this is when you start to see the real change. And this is when those thoughts, they start coming in. Stop them. Think of something else. Tell your brain, stop doing that. You can talk to yourself. You're not crazy. You're allowed to have conversations with yourself and say, stop it. That is not healthy. Don't think about that. If it gives you that like weird, icky gut feeling, that means it's not for you. Get rid of it. So I know that I've mentioned that we've been triggered, right, on childhood trauma, other outside experiences that were possibly out of our control. Even if this stuff has happened to you, it's our responsibility to acknowledge it and hold ourselves accountable of handling it and moving forward with our life. So it's about acknowledging the past and not staying stuck in it. That's the key. And it doesn't mean that you can't have empathy for what you went through. It doesn't mean that you can't, everybody's different. You can go through and you can hash it out. And like I said earlier, you might not remember some of it. Maybe you were that little. And it doesn't mean you're telling yourself that you're not allowed to own your story. You are. But just remember that whatever you're putting your thoughts on, it's going to bring it back. So it's really ideal if you understand that even if you don't know what the exact trauma cause was, you may or may not, it's important to give yourself that self-love, time, and care to go, okay, that happened, but I need to let that go now. Otherwise, you're going to continue operating on that operating system that was built from that trauma. No is a full sentence. I wish that I was better at saying no, but what is one of the first things we're taught as little kids? We're taught that saying no is bad. I understand why this happens, right? We're trying to, when people are raising kids, help them understand right from wrong. But the reality is most children know right from wrong from the beginning. And all these operating systems that we have installed because our brain is on record the first 7 years of our life are a reflection of what we were taught and told when we were little. This is not about blame. This is about acceptance, understanding we can't change our past, okay? We could have had the most amazing family. We could have had the most broken family. That's not, the point is that we're going to take whatever it was, even if we don't know the exact incidents, we're going to accept them, that we cannot change them, and we're going to find that courage to change the things we can. And then we're going to hope and pray for the wisdom to know the difference. Growth requires action. You got to keep moving, okay? Healing is uncomfortable. but there's like a comfort in it. And ever since Christmas Eve, there was this calmness in my center. It was the most uncomfortable feeling, but that calmness meant I was on my road to recovery. So don't avoid healing, because the longer you avoid healing, the longer you prolong the process of feeling better. Suffering is a choice. Getting hurt and running into conflict is inevitable. But if we hold on to these things, that's when we really struggle and continue that cycle of suffering. You actually can end this. So the other thing to avoid is seeking validation from people who can't give it. And by the way, there's a good chance not many people are going to be able to give you the advice you need. Why? Because their worldview, their world lens of life is based on their journey. Have you ever tried to confide in someone? It could be a close friend or a family member or someone that you think you trust, which it's okay that you trust these people. But hear me on this. What if, let's just say as a metaphor, you get in the car with somebody, okay? And this person and you are gonna try to go to somewhere to eat, right? And there's an opportunity for you to drive. But this person was like, do you wanna drive? And you say, no, it's fine, I'll sit in the passenger seat, okay? And you sit in the passenger seat, and then the whole time that person's driving, you're like, no, don't go that way. No, you need to go that way. No, you did that wrong. Stop, you're, backseat driver, right? You can't give somebody the keys and then tell them what to do. If you want control of your own life and where you're going, you need to sit in the driver's seat. And what if this person ends up going somewhere else? Maybe you didn't want to go there. That's where you have to take accountability and go, that's right, I could have driven myself. And this is a metaphor for life in general. So think of this when you're a little confused. If you're trying to seek validation through other people, they're going to give you advice. I have followed advice from people, and I know that they meant well, but it blew up in my face. And then I got upset. But I have to hold myself accountable for making certain decisions based on what other people were telling me to do with my life. We all hold the paintbrush to our own life. Don't let anybody else paint that picture. Only you should be painting that picture. And once you get your core value system in place, you can start making decisions, and then you won't really need to ask for advice from other people and seek that validation. We come into this life alone and we leave alone. It's really important that you own this. And I used to kind of fear this thought, but I have found so much freedom in it. And it really, once you get it, it's so freeing. So let's conclude with, what's one small thing you can do today that is a step in the right direction, building the life that you want to live? Healing is not about grand gestures. It's about baby steps. It's about small, consistent choices. Set a boundary with someone. Just be prepared. If this is somebody that you haven't set boundaries with before, they might think you're crazy. You're not crazy. Choose a different reaction than usual. This is something I've had to tell myself. And what I do is I breathe in for 7 seconds, hold it at the top of your head for 3, and let it out through your mouth until nothing else is there. I know a lot of people will count, whatever, but sometimes if you're not sure how to not react yet, these little tricks can help. Spend time around people who align with your values. And if you don't have anybody like that, if you stick with just these core values that you built, very soon you're going to find people, even if they're new friends, who align with what you want and what you value and how you want to be and the life you want to live. Don't forget to give yourself this affirmation that every step that you take, every step forward is proof that you're rebuilding and healing. So practice gratitude in the little things. I've actually always been fairly good at this because I'm just one of those people that I just like to even look at the trees as they're blowing. But a lot of us are overstimulated right now. So just keep this in mind. If you're overstimulated, sometimes taking a break from your phone is great. I try to silence my notifications because I get a lot. And so some of these things might help eliminate that overwhelm. Try to find simple things to be grateful for. And I know that it's hard when you're not really feeling like your life has a lot in it that you like, but I promise just watching this video might be something that you're grateful for. And you can come back and watch all these videos because they're part of this playlist. It's something I'm leaving behind forever for people to enjoy for free so that they can help rebuild themselves and know that you're not alone. I know that this is through a screen today, but guess what? You're not alone. We're all in this together. Why? Because we're more energy than we are matter, which means this connection and this feeling that we all are having collectively together today is very real. Whether this video you're seeing the day that it was uploaded or you're seeing it years later. Remember that even in your hardest moments, there is light. You are a ball of energy. Just tell yourself, I'm grateful for today. Life is a gift. You have the power to do whatever you want. So just remember, trauma and hardship is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. Once you take responsibility, not in a way that blames the past, you can acknowledge it, but don't blame it. Use it as a way to empower your future. Once you do this, life is going to shift for you, just like it has for me. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to figure everything out today. But you have to be willing to change, and you have to be willing to let go. You have to be willing to rebuild. The more you practice these steps, the less control all of this negative chaos holds power over you in your life. You are not broken. You are being reborn. I feel like this is my second chance at my life. I've never felt that way before. And it is a feeling that just sort of blossomed inside of me. It's not fake. It is so real. And I know that this is very uncomfortable for certain people that have known me for a long time, but guess what? The people and the things and the opportunities and the life that I was meant to live are starting to do this, and they're coming closer to me. And things that are going away from me were never meant for me in the first place, and I'm learning that. I hope that helps you today, okay? And don't forget, I upload videos every single day about my healing journey, all right? You're not alone. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.